YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like. But today, you see the title. We got a reaction slash review to the Weeknd Super Bowl 55 halftime show. Now, I'm not going to be playing clips of it because of copyright reasons. Plus, I already saw it, so I'm not going to fake a first reaction. I'm here to really talk about it and review it. I'm going to start from the beginning, and then I'm going to go to the end, and I'm going to have like pictures throughout. Like on the screen that you're going to see as well. I wasn't going to do a face cam for this. I was going to just kind of talk about it, but I decided what the heck, why not do a face cam? I've been doing a face cam in all my videos. So let's get right to it. So starting off with the beginning of the show, you see here, so it starts off with him in this Las Vegas like setting with the old school Pepsi logo, and he's coming out of the old, car and all that. So I thought this was a very good way to start it off, very after hours theme based start, the whole Vegas concept continuing throughout, and if you watch, I'm not here to talk about all the music videos, but kind of a continuation of the story that he's been telling really over the past year or so throughout each music video of this character, as he calls it. So I thought that was a very appropriate way to get into it. And you see him walk out, sitting down, and then it zooms kind of out from the scoreboard, and you see kind of like the choir being introduced as they do a rendition of Call Out My Name, I believe it was. They got their rendition going. And then the thing that's very interesting, I thought the stage design was really cool, how he could be either on top of it, he can be below it, he could be, literally in it, like in the back of it, and like they had that whole alleyway behind it and like how he could go. So I thought that was very creative. I thought, for given what he had to work with, he didn't know if he was going to be performing for hundreds, thousands, nobody in the stands, full stadium. Like when they planned this out, they planned this out months ahead of time, and you didn't even know if it was going to be Super Bowl. So I thought, for that being the case, and another thing I want to pay attention to is the people on the moving part of the stage, like the choir. Oh, sorry, I hit the microphone. I know that probably didn't sound good. The choir, how they go from having these like masks on them to these background singers to the change in clothing to, dancing to, and then they're playing violins to, like, they're all like multi-talented people, in the crowd, who are, a part of this, not in the crowd, but in like on the stage, who are part of this. So they do the Call Out My Name thing, and it goes right into Starboy. Now I'm going to be talking a little bit about song selection. As far as picking song selection, the only critiques I have is I thought he did an amazing job. They only had 13 minutes. I see some people saying he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Guys, it's a 13-minute show. You can only do so many songs, and I thought that I pretty much predicted all the songs right. The only thing I pretty much got wrong was when I thought he would do a Kissland song, and he didn't do a Kissland song. I didn't know which one, but I thought he would do at least one from Kissland. He didn't, which I understand. Because, you just have 13 minutes. You have to do the big hits, right? I understand that. I understand who the audience is for. This is for his mainstream, like, pop following. This isn't for, like, the old fan. This is more for that type of audience, which I understand. But he did throw something in for the old fans out of House of Balloons, which was House of Balloons, Glass Table Girls. That's the one prediction I got wrong. I thought for sure if he was going to do a song from Trilogy, which I thought he would do one from those three mixtapes, I thought it was going to be Wicked Games. I'm a little surprised he didn't do Wicked Games. That is my only like surprise. It's not a critique, but it was a surprise. I thought for sure he would do that. So he starts off with Starboy, which makes sense because in a way that is kind of the album that made him into that, superstar persona, the After Hours character, continuing from there, as a good continuation of that, huge, bigger than life persona that he has become. At least that he is portraying. Not that I look at him in that way. It's hard for me not to look at him as, that, underground kind of like crooner, that, that artist that, that you don't really, isn't supposed to be at the level that he is right now. And he did show some of that too in his performance later on. So the next thing is it goes right into the hills. I thought that the lighting was cool for this one. As you see, the people behind him, the choir, kind of have this choreography going and a change of dress as well. And I thought like a lot of the details were very good in the stage about, the skylines kind of going with that whole Vegas after hours kind of look. And then you got like words along like you see alone a lot from Alone Again, and that's a very common theme of After Hours is he's constantly by himself in a city, and there's so much going on around him in Vegas. And then you see words like enough, words like hours, you see after hours, you see all of the themes continuing. You see the nothing, a word that is used throughout his eras, not just After Hours itself. I thought that this performance in itself was good as well, going into the next song, which was I Can't Feel My Face. And this is where I thought the design was very cool, going from, this stage with the backdrop to a very, Vegas, casino look with, like the lights and everything like that. Continued that theme as well. And, the suit continuing as well. But here, it's like a 44-pound suit. Those are real rubies on the suit. I thought that was actually really cool. And I'm surprised he was able to move as well as he did with 44 pounds on him. And I thought this was kind of cool. I liked the choreography, how all these people just came in out of nowhere, and it made him feel like he was, trapped inside of this place that he has been in the last year, that he has been showcasing his development from. Okay, he's happy in the Heartless video, he's very, content. He's about to go to Vegas. He's going to have a good time, and then things go horribly wrong from there. Then the next video, he's got a little bit of blood. The next video, he gets completely ruined. He's got bandages all over him like these background dancers do, to the part where it's so bad that he has to have the plastic surgery in the Save Your Tears video. And then all the way full circle, now you see him back to normal. Just a little, a thing about the story continuation, and it's kind of like shown here. Then you see all these guys here are kind of like, still in that bandage stage. And I thought this was very creative because of the, they're close together. It can also serve as a mask. I thought that was a very creative thing that happened. And then from there, he goes from inside the stage, the hallway, till back up on the stage for I Feel It Coming. Now, this was a good performance. I thought this was a good idea. I like how you have the backdrop, you got the skyline still even at the top, and then you have him facing the other way as well. With the fireworks in the background. You see it in all Raymond James Stadium. I thought that was a very good part as well, a good touch. And then from there, he goes into Save Your Tears. I was 100% expecting him to play this song because it was used a lot in the promotional videos, just the track playing from it. You see other elements of the stage here in this picture as well. You see the word touch, infamously from Blinding Lights, the end of Blinding Lights, the end of the hook of Blinding Lights. And there's a really good look at what it looked like. And another side note that people didn't realize is his live band. So he's got, what's his name? Ricky. And I forgot the other two. It was Ricky, someone else. I could look it up, but I'm not going to look it up. That are part of his band. His main person on the keys, his drummer, guitar player. All three of those guys were there that he has had since his original tours in the from the Mod Club days to Kissland days. Those same three guys who have been on his band, as they call it, those three guys are still there, still here in the Super Bowl. They're right above the stage. You can't really see them in this shot, but there are some shots where you can see them. Everything was done live music. It was live guitar, live drums. That's why it felt like when you go back and listen to the drums, you can hear a very high quality in the drums because it was all live playing. It wasn't a pre-recorded track, and also all of his vocals were live as well. You can tell by when he moves the mic away from him, you can hear it get quieter. That's one thing you look for in a live performance. Does it get quieter as they move the mic back and forth, or does it stay at one level? That's one way to tell, and you could tell that it was all done live. At points there were some backing tracks, but it was so quiet that you couldn't even hear it. It was mostly his voice. And then from there, I'm getting into Earned It. Now, I did not know that this song could sound the way it did, like a theatrical version. I know it was for a movie, 50 Shades of Grey, but it was even more theatrical and loud, and you have the entire choir singing it with him, and he's holding the note at the end. I thought this was honestly his best vocal performance of the night, as he was able to get like the verse, the hook, the bridge. He was able to hold the note at the end as well as the chorus and the lights coming off, and him just left there with the skyline in the background. Like, this was a very big moment of the performance. I thought that it was an underappreciated moment from that. And then from there, you get the trilogy callback, the House of Balloons. Now, the tradition, or there was a transition. I want to talk about some of the transitions in this performance. The one before, Can't Feel My Face, you heard a little bit about the After Hours title track in there from The Hills to I Can't Feel My Face. There was a little bit of that in the transition as well. Then there was a transition earlier on where you heard a little bit of what's the song that, what was it called, that was played off of Trilogy, House of Balloons. Why can't I think of what it was called? You could hear like the end of the chorus from each of it. It was after, now I can't remember where it was, guys, but I'm not going to trip about it. This video is raw. I'm not going to trip, but there was, I know, it was after Save Your Tears. It was after Save Your Tears. You could hear the, like, and then, what song is that? It's like, It Hurts to Breathe, Open a Window, This is a Happy House, Happy, what song? Why can't I think of the title of that? But that was the song that was playing. And then he goes into, it's this song. What am I talking about? It's this song, House of Balloons. That's the song. That song is being played after Save Your Tears as well, and then he comes back to it here and sings part of it, and you have this huge stage, so that is basically the field. It's not even a stage, it's this field, and you have the whole field being filled with the masked guys, and this is where, again, the whole COVID situation, using the bandages as a mask is probably one of the most creative thing I've seen in a halftime show. Just thinking of that idea is amazing. And, watching him walk throughout from the middle all the way through the middle of all of these replications of him. These are all replications of him, and he's going back to his House of Balloon days, singing about how this is fun to him and knowing the journey that he is about to go on. Cali is the mission, and from In the Morning, knowing the journey that he is about to go on. This is the perfect symbolism of where he started. You see the red, you see the background, very dark, homeless background, where he started. Like, imagine performing a song you made when you were homeless on the biggest stage in the world, going from there to where he is now, Blinding Lights. The whole transition from this is where I was, this is the old me all around me, where I was, where my mistakes were, where I was, 10, 11 years ago, then boom. This is where I am now, and all the guys around him, all these background dancers, all these guys, the masked Ables, I would call them, I don't know, the masked version of the week, all of them laying down dead, and it's just him now, him going from a success story, like going from nothing to this huge success story, something that you don't really see. So that's really my interpretation of it. I hope you guys learned something from the video. I don't know, I'm just trying to be as introspective about this as I can and as honest as I can. And the only critique I have of the show is, first of all, I think he did an amazing job for what he was given. The extra money he put into it, I could speculate where that was. That was probably in the fireworks. It was probably in the suit. I mean, the suit, 44 pounds of rubies. I mean, that's going to cost money. Probably in for his band too as well, having his live band there. Some of that money probably went to that. Also making sure the sound of the band is as live and as authentic as possible. A lot of that money is probably going, but most of it was probably fireworks and the suit. That's if I had to guess, because a lot of these performances, you have to understand, they do pay for it themselves. The teams, the record label, they all pay for it. They have to pay for it themselves. A lot of people don't realize that about the performances, about tours. A lot of it does come out of the artist's pocket, because in the event that they are going to make back, 5-6 times what they invested in themselves, whether it's on tour, whether it's a performance like this where his streaming numbers, I'm sure, are going to skyrocket after this. People who never knew who he was are going to go listen to him. People who haven't listened to him in a while are going to go back and listen to After Hours, Beauty Behind the Madness, Starboard, all these albums, because they saw this performance and they're like, oh yeah, I remember this song, let me go back. All that money that he was able to invest, he's going to get back 5-6 times that from streaming numbers probably alone. So that is part of it as well. What else was I going to say about this performance? The only real knock I had was The audio was too low for his voice. But that I can't really knock on him because that's not his fault. Vocally, you could tell he was doing a good job. It was just too quiet because the mixing, whoever was responsible for the mixing, they went so far to make sure how authentic the live band sounded that it almost overpowered him, and it was too loud. As they had his mic had to be up at least another 10, 20 decibels. Like if we're being honest, for a live stadium, especially when you're performing outside open field. It's not like a dome where the sound kind of stays in. It's an open field, so the sound's kind of leaving. So you have to make sure that the vocals are loud enough to stay in, especially if you're going to be recording on TV. You have to make sure that that's up like at least 10 or 20 more decibels than it was. Other than that, I have no complaints. I thought it was a great performance. I thought that was it. Yeah, so my final thoughts of this halftime show was it was one of my favorites, and I am biased, but I think that he did a great job utilizing all the stage, and I thought he did a good job of keeping it PG in the past. You see these super time people were mad it wasn't flashy. This is the Weeknd. It's not going to be flashy with all these background dancers doing crazy stuff and provocative clothing. It's not going to be like that. Even though he is his music is like that, his performances are all about him, the microphone, and the audience. It's about him and his voice. It's about the talent that he has. It's not about having all this extra stuff, because a lot of people, they need all that extra stuff to make it a big. He doesn't. All he needs is his talent. So he tries not to do that. If you see him perform live on tour, normal performances, it's not about the theatrics. It's about him and only him and his, the band behind him as well sometimes too. So that's it. So I thought that people were expecting too much out of him as far as theatrics goes, when he's not about that. He's only about the talent. And I think if his mic had been a little louder, that would have came through even better. But I still think that it was a great performance. I would probably give it an 8 or 9 out of 10 compared to what he could have done. And that most of it isn't on him. Most of that is because the mixing job that they did was poor as far as the levels. But other than that, that's really all I got to say. That's my final thoughts on this. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell. I might do more reviews, and as far as music goes, I might be talking about music more on this channel other than just gaming. I want to do reactions, but a lot of times the copyrights are bad on YouTube. You get copyright strikes if you play too much of songs, so I try to stay away from it. But if I can just come on here and talk about it, I could do that. I don't even know if that's something I can have an audience for or not, but I thought this video was a good idea to make. So yeah, so make sure you like, subscribe, share the channel. I'm trying to get 50 subs. I'm at 31 right now by the end of the month. Appreciate it all. Thanks for watching, guys.